I don't know what we did to deserve this, guys, but we have yet another webcomic chapter only a week after one came out of hiatus and gave us chapter 142. Don't know if this is building up for season 3 of the anime announcements or anything like that, but I'm just going to enjoy some additional webcomic content. If you guys remember in the previous chapter, it was all about Genos totally wrecking the robot army that him and Saitama discovered was attacking a city. This was kind of to size him up and his new upgrades that he got from Dr. Kuseno, really his final upgrades, and kind of solidify that, in my opinion, he pretty much is like a top 3, top 4 hero without question at this point. Well, unfortunately, we don't get to Genos in this chapter, but we do get to some very, very interesting stuff, and it's pretty much all action the entire time, so that's nice. We actually pick up with Lightning Max, of all people, trying to fight off one of the robots, and of course the Lightning Max isn't going to win here. I feel like he's never really won a fight, except for maybe like in the Super Fight tournament or something, and no matter what he does, he's not even putting a dent in this robot. As we saw in the previous chapter, they're kind of approaching dragon level strength, these robots are, because with a single beam they could just completely obliterate an entire building, and we're seeing here that an A-class hero's attacks isn't even moving it in any way. So he figures out that he can't take this thing head on, so his plan is to kind of divert it away from the public until hero support comes around, because he's under the impression that there's only one of them. But he gets a very, very harsh realization in about a second, because as he's kind of leading the robot away from other people, he hits an even bigger crowd of people running in the opposite direction from him, because there's straight up an entire army of them like we saw a few chapters ago. So Lightning Max just freezes up and watches this army of robots cause all of this destruction. But I mean, what can he do? He couldn't even take out one or do anything to one, so he's just kind of standing there shocked, watching these robots destroy buildings and possibly killing people. Well, Lightning Max's inability to run in this situation turns out very badly for him, because in a crazy shock, I did not think something like this was going to happen, especially like in a lighthearted manga like One Punch Man, but Lightning Max actually takes a blast from these robots and gets his legs blown off. Now with what's going to happen next, I feel like that kind of foreshadows him joining the Neo Heroes, and it would make sense because he'll get new legs that way and he could still continue being a hero. But I think it's pretty crazy that he got him blown off in the first place. Like when I first saw it, it was like one of those open mouth moments, like my jaw dropped, you know? Well, my jaw dropped yet again on the next page, because one of the battle robots shot a blast at Lightning Max to finish him off, but none other than Mumen Rider tanks the blast and saves him. Now I'm sure you guys remember this, even though it's been so long, but a few chapters back, Mumen Rider was actually given a special battle suit, much like the battle suit that a lot of the Neo heroes are using, but it was one specially made for him by the Hunters, because we also learned that the Hunters, along with Axel, are big fans of Mumen Rider, and he's the reason they actually decided to be heroes. Well, Lightning Max is just as confused as anybody else would be, seeing Mumen Rider tank these massive blasts, and Mumen Rider actually says something very surprising. When Lightning Max asks, "Are you Mumen Rider?" he says, "The cyclist for justice, Neo Mumen." So this is pretty much confirming that he's seemingly switched sides to the Neo heroes, and I feel like he's kind of like on the same train as Axel. Like, they're people that mean well and they're trying to actually protect the public, but they're just unaware that the Neo heroes are super shady, just like the Hero Association, and seem to be set up to be even more corrupt than the Hero Association. So I don't think this is a permanent switch for Mumen Rider. I just think that he sees all the good that the Neo heroes are doing and sees that this battle suit helps him help a lot more people, so he's just kind of rolling with it. I'm also hoping, since Axel specifically said that this was like a specially modified battle suit just for Mumen Rider, that he doesn't get affected negatively by the battle suits like I think everyone else is, because as we saw with Suiryu and in other situations, we see that the battle suits are kind of taking control of the users or restricting them in some way. So I feel like eventually these battle suits are going to fully take over the minds and bodies of everyone wearing them and start attacking the heroes. Think of like an Injustice situation from the DC universe. But I hope Mumen Rider isn't one of them and he's still fighting on the side of the heroes when all of that happens. And that's kind of why I think that it was specifically stated that he got a specially made battle suit. But moving on, he saves Lightning Max and evacuates, and we cut to a group of heroes that are being surrounded by another cluster of robots, and one of the Neo leaders, A, pretty much tells them that they're a liability at this point, and they really are, you know? What the hell can they do? We saw that Lightning Max couldn't put a dent in them, so what are B-class heroes going to do, you know? And along with that, some former B-class heroes actually show up to take care of things, and this seems to be the group of B-class heroes that were fighting that Master King monster when Blue came in and finished them off in one shot. lot because he gives one of them like this laser sword, and we see one of them using them in this scene. So Tank Top Master also shows up and he talks about how his body seems fully recovered, and what I'm assuming he's referring to is all the damage he took from that smoker dragon level monster, because I think that was the last time that we saw him. So as always, he's kind of getting dapped up by his tank top crew, and he orders them to evacuate the civilians that he sees kind of in the distance. Well, he soon realizes that this isn't a group of civilians, it's actually another army of robots, but they don't have any time to move, so they just get hit head on with these blasts, and Tank Top Master tanks them, but the rest of his team is completely laid out. So he pretty much decides just to plant his feet and tank every single blow that they're throwing at him in order to protect his crew. Well, he notices that the blasts eventually stop, and he wonders if it was like Metal Knight or Tatsumaki or something, because they'd be the only ones strong enough to stop these things. But of course, it's not them, it's actually another group of Neo heroes, more specifically the Hunters this time, led by Axel. And I don't know if this is one kind of like subtly comparing this group of Hunters to being as strong as, let's say, a Metal Knight or a Tatsumaki. I kind of doubt it, but it is a pretty impressive feat nonetheless for regular humans. And of course, after you see the Hunters, you're going to see Axel immediately come afterwards, and Tank Top Master thanks him for showing up and asks him for help to evacuate his damaged crew. And Axel kind of has this interaction with Tank Top Master that makes me just really not like him as a character. Like, I know he means well, I know he thinks the Hero Association is corrupt and he's doing the right thing or whatever, but I feel like Tank Top Master is like one of the most genuine heroes in the whole story. Like, one track minded, he just wants to help people and be prideful about it. No problem with that, right? But Axel just has this like personal vendetta against the heroes because he lost a loved one to a monster, and the Hero Association failed him in that way by not saving them. But I just hate how he gets all up in Tank Top Master's face and kind of pretty much talks him out of doing anything. Like, dude, any help counts right now. Why are you making this personal? Like, I feel like this is kind of like a selfish decision on his part, because literally any help is good help at this point, more specifically from the S-Class heroes that can actually do something. So just get over yourself, bro. You know, this isn't about you, you know? But anyways, he pretty much makes Tank Top Master leave, and he goes on to speed blitz all of these robots, putting on some impressive feats here. Again, I want to give a shout out to One's art because it's very, very much improving, especially with these action sequences. They look pretty awesome, I'm not gonna lie. And whatever, you know, he has this shining moment to look super cool and take out all these robots, and he starts having this monologue about how the world needs this new force to protect them, and that they're going to fight for humanity, fight for the public, and shows this scene with like all these average looking people wearing battle suits, like schoolgirls, little kids, old people, and he continues on about this perfect world pretty much that they're trying to create with the Neo heroes, and then he kind of ends off by saying, and nobody is going to get in our way. Now again, I know he means well here, but at the same time, like, I'm just really not liking his character, especially, you know, since he was just introduced in the manga. He seems like very much a party pooper in the manga like he is in the webcomic, so I really hope he sees the error in the Neo heroes ways pretty soon so he could just stop being so negative all the time. He gives me like Sasuke vibes from Naruto, but like minus all of the good things, you know? But anyways, I don't want to rant too much about Axel. Totally love this chapter. Love that One is giving this to us a week after he just gave us another one. Maybe it's too much to ask to get another one next week, but who knows? Maybe he's making it like another, you know, bi-weekly or monthly thing again, and he's putting out a few chapters just to kind of catch us up to speed. Who knows? But, you know, let me know what you guys think about this chapter in the comments below. Which chapter do you like better, last chapter or this one? That is it for today's video, guys. Have an absolutely wonderful day, and I'll see you guys in the next video.